where our host, Andy Austin, will take things over in a moment here and run ahead and spin that wheel and determine how many of the top 10 starters we will redraw for starting position here today before beginning the third annual Granite State Derby. And, of course, leading up to the call to post here today. Let's go trackside to Andy Austin.
Thank you so much, Joe Koss. Thank you very much, Joe. As we are here down in what will be Victory Lane. So we have a bunch of numbers on here. Matt, what do you say you give her a spin? Does it land on 4, 6, 8, 10. There's 6. There's 6. There's 6. Do I see an 8? Do I see an 8? It's on 8! So, let's bring it on up here. That's a lot for a quarter-mile track. And this will be the first guy, Matt. If you can just draw this one here. Matt Hirschman is going to start in position number... What you got?
7.
Anthony Cecily. Anthony, what you got?
What's that? On the pin.
Big dog. Pole position! Yeah. Sure. Kyle Bonsignor come up. Kyle? Qualified in third. The pole is gone. Outside pole still there. And you get 8.
Awesome.
8. Craig Lutz. Craig, come on up here. One piece of the front row is still open. What do you got?
4.
All right. Works out in the wash. Looking for John McKennedy. John, come on up. All right.
So I got a whip.
John, what you got?
It's going to be a 3.
You called it.
3.
3! Inside of row 2 for John McKennedy. Patrick Emmerling. Patrick, come on up. And you get a
5.
Number 5. Tommy Catalano. Tommy. Tom, what you got?
2.
On the outside pole, Tommy Catalano and Jake Johnson.
One left.
Yeah, one left, bud.
Hope it's a 1. 6.
6, at least it's not a 9 upside down. So there is your redraw. Get ready for the third annual Granite State Derby here at Monadnock Speedway. And we'll send it back topside to Joe Koss and Ben Dodge.
Well, thank you, Andy, and that makes things pretty interesting here, Ben.
Sure does.
Because Matt Hirschman, the fastest car on the property, qualified on the Mayhew Tool pole, but he will start in 7th. He lost 7 spots on that redraw.
He sure did, and that's just one of several competitors that you can say the same thing about. Little different firing order, as we can see. The 22 machine, after qualifying third, will be back in the 8th position as well. So, and of course, we said before, Anthony Cecily with the car that was second fastest. He really did very well for himself because he'll be making up the front row. And will today be the day that one of the 3 Catalanos will have the opportunity to make it to Whelen Modified Tour Victory Lane for the Granite State Derby.
So just to recap the redraw for you. 19, Anthony Cecily, Tommy Catalano on the front row. John McKennedy will start 3rd, Craig Lutz 4th, Patrick Emmerling 5th, Jake Johnson 6th, Matt Hirschman will start 7th, and Kyle Bonsignor will start 8th. Now, Ben, this is a Granite State Derby.
Yes, it is.
We talk about the alignment with the Kentucky Derby. We talk about the horses. Not one horse, not two horses, but how about 600 horses?
That's right. And that's just the beginning. It's got all the fanfare, the atmosphere, the prestige. The Kentucky Derby is among the best. Is JDV Productions about to present the best stop for short track racing on the Whelen Modified Tour? could be the day.
Well, the jockeys are getting inside their mounts right
They're
now.
strapping
ready
in.
to go. The
Up on the
horses
saddles.
have slid down into the cage, into the opening starting gate, and they are about ready to get loose here and take on this Monadnock Speedway for 150 laps. And this is going to be an all-out sprint, just like the Kentucky Derby is. This Granite State Derby, they are going to be up on the wheel. Fresh asphalt, picturesque here in New Hampshire. It really doesn't get any better than this. An ultimate short track race here at Monadnock Speedway.
It sure is. And of course, those of you that are tuned in on Flow, we welcome each and every one of you on behalf of JDV Productions for this afternoon's special event. Another stop, the third annual Granite State Derby 150 laps. Nobody knows what to anticipate. The one thing we do know is it's a different form of asphalt on the track itself, but will it be a whole different strategy that comes into play? We'll talk about tire management coming up. Little different situation. We've seen this event go from green to checker before, Joe. We know that. Will it happen today? We're not sure.
Not sure. There are so much new here with this new pavement, new tires, new strategy, new line around this racetrack. Drivers have called it tricky. Getting down into turn one, we saw a couple of cars spin in practice today. I think they're going to have to be up on the wheel, and I think as the race goes on, that chrome horn is going to come into play if you want to be able to get to victory lane today.
I agree. When I talked to Justin Bonsignori, he told me turn one, pretty much the same. Turn two, a little bit different. Tricky part of the racetrack is turn number 3. If you get one of the wheels up on that burr at the bottom of the racetrack, it sends the car up half a lane. That half a lane could be a big factor.
You get a look at some of the track facts here at Monadnock Speedway. Winchester, New Hampshire, typical New England town. They had a farmer's market downtown today on the drive-in.
It's famous for the pickle fest.
It was beautiful.
Yes.
1971, they opened up the racetrack, that same asphalt, until this winter when they laid down this new pavement. Quarter of a mile, 18 degrees of banking in one turn, 16 in turns 3 and 4. Nickname, the Mad Dog.
Sure is. And no two turns are the same on this racetrack. When we talked to Norm Wren earlier, he said his reason for repaving was to take some of the bumps out, but more important, to create a faster Monadnock. We know by looking at the times that has been the case here today.
The field is staged, ready to go. Drivers strapping in. Final preparations being made. The crew members with the air tanks, after making those air pressure adjustments, making their way back to the pit area, which is located over the top of the hill, down the other side of it, and through turns 1 and 2 back in the paddock area. But Ben, as you described, they will not need it here today. Let's take a quick look before we get going. Some of the keys to the race. Protect the right rear tire. This racetrack is always pretty abrasive on that, but the teams have told us that not so much today with the new pavement, and you've got to be easy with the throttle.
You have to be. And, of course, we said before, the unknown factor is the new pavement. This is the longest distance that any division has went on the new pavement here today.
Well, Ben, the stage is set. The horses have pulled into the gate. The jockeys are on the saddle. It's time to go.
The horses are chomping at the bit, Joe. It is now time. Get ready. The moment of intensity. Every rider strapped in and anticipating. In just a few short moments, they'll kick those spurs full throttle right through the bottom of the carburetor to get enough giddy up to become the Granite State Derby winner of the most prestigious stop, the first of the short track traditions here as JDV Productions is proud to present this afternoon's event.
And the first of a triple crown of events here for the Wheel and Modified Tour this season. 3 stops, the Granite State Derby, the Duel at the Dog, the Winchester Fair, $20,000 in bonus purse money in addition to the race-winning purse as part of the Wheeling Granite State Short Track Cup. Wheeling Engineering employees here from New Hampshire in the crowd today. Beautiful sun pouring over this Monadnock Speedway, glistening on that new pavement, and the field ready to go here for the 3rd annual Granite State Derby. What a day this has turned out to be. I think this is going to be one of the most fascinating races that we have seen in a long time in modified racing here at this racetrack. So much intrigue coming into this one.
It certainly is. The front straightaway here is totally under the sunlight as the parade of cars head down into turn number 1 and into turn 2. Down the backstretch, a little bit of shade there as the field will be correcting itself in the proper starting lineup. Jimmy Wilson in charge of the competition from out of the paddock area with a full team of staff on the Wheeling Modified Tour. You know, today we also want to mention, Joe, 2 individuals that are not with us for this afternoon's presentation that were a part of our Wheeling Modified Tour family. Glenn Dixon was one of those very special people that was one of the guys behind the scenes. Very sadly, Glenn passed away this past week. And a few weeks back, Mike Davini, who campaigned a car at Richmond with Marcello Rufano behind the wheel. Those are 2 of the individuals that are near and dear to all of our hearts. But now, as we look the field over, as they head off turn number 4, there's no, odds-on advantage going into this one. Nobody knows exactly what to expect for 150 circuits on the quarter mile.
Well, the teams will do 5 pace laps here to get these cars up to speed, warmed up, and ready to go. You look back through the record books, and 9 out of the last 10 races here at Monadnock Speedway have been won from the front row.
That is correct.
But we've got a different scenario today. The fastest car on the property, Matt Hirschman, after the redraw, will start 7th. And that Baker-owned number 60, the yellow and red car that Matt Hirschman is here. He's here for the money. He's here for the Granite State Short Track Cup. Wheeling providing the backing there, and that's why Matt Hirschman campaigned with these 3 races. He is the only Granite State Short Track Cup champion in the field. Won it in the inaugural season back in 2022. Last year was a 7 New York team. Doug Kobe, Tommy Baldwin in that group that captured that crown. And who is going to be next as it all starts right now?
It sure does. You know, there's also another side note. Car number 60. Remember, Matt Hirschman has always competed with Troyer race cars. Today, car number 60 is an LFR chassis. Different combination. Something that Matt knows about, but he doesn't necessarily have the feel for. But today, with Matt Hirschman's talent, he'll be expected to be right up front in the competition here.
You have to look at that front row, though. Anthony Cecily, Stephen Kopchik, back together for the first time here this season, working together. He's got that car qualified 2nd, redraw 1st. He'll start on the bottom. Tommy Catalano and this team have had a great season, but these short track races have not been their strength. Their strength has been on the big tracks, the New Smyrnas, the Richmonds, the Thompsons, but they have shown strength with all these cars here, and they've got a car that's starting on the front row.
Let's take a look at that 2nd row. A former champion of the Wheeling Modified Tour, John McKennedy, comes back with his own deal, his own operation. And then, of course, Craig Lutz outside of that 2nd row. Lutz now returned to this team, has had a tremendous start so far, but has come up a little shy. He'll be starting in the 2nd row.
1 lap to go when the field comes around. They'll see the green next time through. The crowd here at Monadnock on their feet, getting ready to see 150 laps of the Wheeling Modified Tour. The Toyota Pace truck will head for cover. They'll roll through turns 1 and 2, and the go time is now. The gate's about to open. Anthony Cecily down low. Tommy Catalano on the front row after the redraw.
They head down into turn number 3. All of the riders are on their stride. Ladies and gentlemen, the Granite State Derby is about to go green from the high banks of Monadnock.
Green flag out, and Anthony Cecily quickly jumps out in front from the bottom lane. No open up 2 car lanes now as they head down the back straightaway. John McKennedy in the 79, darting to the inside. He's looking
Trouble now, up on the high side. Salamino gets crossed up, gathers it back, but loses several positions on the racetrack.
3 wide, here from Silk all the way to the bottom as Hirschman goes back 2 spots. Now he gets shuffled out of the crowd. Now Hirschman is a 16 car. He is going backwards, gave up 4 spots.
Hirschman backs up the racetrack. Just in front, it is Justin Monsignor. 51, running the tire track of the number 16 machine for Ronnie Silk. Back up front, bid for second. Here comes Patrick Emmerlich. 1 car to the inside of your screen. Emmerlich is moved into the 3rd spot. Carolina backs up, and here comes Jake Johnson, car number 3.
We're learning early on in this one that that outside lane is not very forgiving. Boy, if you get up a little bit, it's all that Jimmy Saladino, he missed his first programs or 3. Tommy Catalano, that 54, got to be careful. Doesn't want to quote-unquote, jump the cushion because there's not a lot of room up there.
There certainly is not. Back out front, leader of the pack still remains. Car number 19, setting a blistering pace. Top 4 cars make it 5 or single file. Catalano is shuffled on the outside lane. Just a few minutes ago, Catalano was into the top 3. He's back in 5th. Meanwhile, back up front, John McKennedy looks to the bottom, car 79. Pulls it back into the line. Sessom still the leader of the pack.
John McKennedy behind the wheel of the 79 is family team. Now, last year he drove for Tim McKean but they parted ways after season. He came back and began racing on Gary Hutton. This is his first time back here in 2024, and he's already putting pressure at one of his best racetracks on the racing series.
He certainly has. You have to remember, John McKenzie has won titles in this racetrack in the Modified Racing Series. Meanwhile, here comes Jake Johnson. Blue car to the inside of the screen. Patrick Emmerlich, 1 car on the outside. Emmerlich digs deep. He's the first car to make that outside lane corner.
Jake Johnson working the bottom. Second place finish last night on the Thompson. There. He continues to show speed everywhere the series goes. It's only a matter of time holding the victory trophy in
While that's been happening, all of a sudden Ronnie Silk in the Silver Ram number 16 car is setting in position number 5. Behind him is a gaggle of cars sitting through the 22 machine. Meanwhile, keep your eyes on that bid for the 4th, 5th, and 6th position.
Now, Silk started back in 9th. He was happy to qualify. He did perform pretty nicely at the 5th. There you see Tommy Catalano struggling in that 58 for the outside. He seems to distinct groups of race cars. This is that second group. Here comes his brother down the inside. Tommy Catalano is black and red. 56 at the bottom. His older brother to the outside of the red 54.
Hirschman is right there. It's Hirschman to the inside, picked up the spot. Tyler Lindenau moves in to challenge there. And here comes Ryan Roby to the right of the screen. The black, yellow, and orange car. He has 13 victories in the racetrack, and he is the only winner of the Modified in 2023. While Catalano shifts to the back, Nocella, the black number 9, puts the pressure on Ryan Roby.
Watching the battle right now, it's 12 Roby, 13 Catalano, Nocella sitting there trying to take that spot away. So we've already ripped off 20 laps of the sticky lap, Granite State Derby.
Keep your eyes on Austin Beers in the Ronnie Klaus prepared machine. White car to the inside of the screen. Now he's being pressured with all of a sudden a good battle by young Kid Kipper. And Kipper, 11 years of age, he started racing at this racetrack. Car number 43, caution flag is out.
Trouble, turn 4. It is Tyler Catalano, the number 84, who has gone around. Brings us under our first caution here. 23 laps complete for the 3rd annual Granite State Derby 150. And Anthony Cecily has been the driver that's been out front the entire way. So Tyler Catalano going around. We'll see if he can get that car rolling once again. Now, we didn't talk about this when they rolled off, but there are no tires that these teams can change. So this is the first race we haven't had a pit stop come into play all season.
And we also want to mention, for those of you that are watching on Flow, we do not have what we consider a pit road. What we do have is a situation that is structured and very well maintained by the Wheel and Modified Tour officials and crews, which is backstage, back behind turns 1 and 2. And the gentleman who's covering the action there is Pete Falcone. Pete Falcone will be looking at it from that perspective and giving us the side stories.
A couple of drivers, if they come down pit road, Pete Falcone will have that covered for us just over the hill behind the pit grandstand here at Monadnock Speedway. But we are under the first caution of the day. We'll come to complete lap 25 here. Anthony Cecily right now leading the way in that number 19 car. Earlier today, Anthony described the speed of this racetrack. He said, when I rolled out onto the racetrack, I held my breath for the first 2 or 3 laps, how lightning fast it was with this new pavement. Now, they've had a team that has had a lot of turnover in the crew chief department. They ran New Smyrna without their core crew chief. They had a different combination at Richmond, a different combination at Thompson, but they partnered back up once again with Steven Kopchik, and that was a combination that worked really well in the 2023 campaign, and the speed with that change was evident. They were fast all day today, qualified second, and got the pole on the redraw.
And I think you're going to see that team have a tremendous amount of success as time goes on. John McKennedy in the number 2 spot. Now, you talk about speed. This gentleman is a former Super Modified champion. The Super Modifieds are among the quickest divisions overall in open wheel modified style racing. Here they come, 2x2 and side by side. We're about ready to go back to green. Anthony Cecily on the inside of the front row. John McKennedy on the outside.
You'll see here on this start how important it is going to be on the bottom. And as the race goes on, you might see drivers try to hold on to an odd number position, because we saw at the start how Tommy Catalano got stuck up there in the outside lane and he went backwards. As a result, he's back in 17th after the drop of the green flag. When he came out on track, he started in the 2nd spot.
You were just looking at Matt Hirschman. He is back in the 10th position. So after the drawing position number 7, he has dropped back 3 positions, but as Joe had mentioned, he is on the outside. Green is out. And Cecily continues to set the pace. Here comes Jake Johnson. The bowler number 3 car gets a good bite on the bottom, and directly behind the number 3 car is Craig Klutz. Klutz now. And McKennedy. Door handle, and here comes Lonnie Silk. Joe Silk is being patient, but he's looking racy in the top 5.
Ron Silk has raced this season 2 victories already. He is certainly somebody to contend with. Now, we haven't talked at all about Bucky Boston today. He's racing side by side with Bucky number 22. That's Kyle Boston, who qualified very well. He got hurt on the big draw as well. He had to start back in the 8th position, losing 5 spots before the start. Justin Boston qualified outside the top 10. That car has a couple spots in front of 8th right now, but that is not traditional for them.
No, it is not. That gentleman comes number 1 has dropped back to the 6th position. He's trying to settle in back behind Ron Silk with the number 16 car. Monsignor hunted down by Catalano. Trouble out. We've got another caution.
Car around the wrong way, midway down the back straightaway, pointing the opposite direction. It appears to be the Nate Wenzel, number 81. Left rear tire is down. You can see he caught the left side of that 81 to the outside Armco barrier.
Very interesting story surrounding that particular race car. He is a former champion competing here in the open wheel weekly divisions of competition in the 1812 paint and auto body car. For him, this was a rare opportunity. His dad competed here in years past, and he was looking nothing better. They brought the car in here in the world of tractor trailers and toter homes and big units assembled to head down into the paddock. They came in the old-fashioned way on a regular single car hauler, but they were able to come back out flat. Looks like both the left front and the left rear as the number 81 heads back to the paddock area.
We're making a pretty good effort to get that car back to pit lane. Amazing, he can even keep that car pointed in the correct direction with only the right side tires working to his favor. You see the left front clearly locked up, the left rear really not much but tattered rubber at this point, and he gets that car off the track. You see it back in the paddock area back where the cars exit the racetrack. We'll find where his crew was pitted and come to the attention to see if they can get that car repaired. But it's so quick to go laps down here when you're back, even under caution with the short quarter-mile distance of this racetrack.
It certainly is, and of course you're taking a look at it. Those of you watching on Flow, that is backstage here, we'll call it, where the cars go into the paddock area where they can make additional adjustments. But it looks like not a lot is going on. The damage might be a little more severe in the 1812 Payton Auto Body car, so the young and talented Wenzel might be out of this event with only 37 laps and counting.
He'd be the first driver out if they cannot get that car repaired, would finish 24th today. The last time we had a caution came out on lap 20, and it was Tyler Catalano who was involved. It looks like he will be the driver that will get the free pass and get back on the lead lap. That'll put everybody, with the exception of Nate Wenzel, of the 23 cars on track, back on the lead lap today.
Certainly will, and as we said, you're looking back out is another one of the Catalano cars picking up at the rear of the field. This is the number 54 car. As Tommy picks up at the back of the pack.
Out of his modified, disappointed with the way that their day ended. They're trying to have a good clean run here today. Well, the pace truck is infield racked up here along the back straightaway. Anthony Cecily continues to be the race leader. He has led from the drop of the green flag. He's got a new challenger on the outside, and Jake Johnson and Craig Lutz will line up third, which has proved to be a pretty good starting spot. Green flag back out. Cecily quick with the trigger. He'll jump out in front of Johnson, but Johnson tries to put the nose up ahead. He'll make contact, slide up the hill, and they stack up behind.
While he slides up the hill, that works to the advantage. Lutz moves to the inside. Here comes Ronnie Silk. Silk puts the car to the bottom, drifts up just a bit. He now moves into the third spot. Well, all that's been happening. Meanwhile, shuffled back in the outside group is John McKennedy with that number 79 car. Once Lutz broke through the black number 46 car, he has been able to reel up front. There's McKennedy, right side of the screen, car 79. He is in a battle and struggling as Patrick Emelin runs to the inside. Just in front of them, that yellow and red car is Matt Hirschman.
That car, Matt Hirschman, is so quick on the racetrack, he's not able to pick up any spots. Ryan Hogan, 25, his car starting to come to life as he goes on the attack against the 79 of John McKennedy. They are starting to get pretty dicey back there. We talked at the start of the roll-off that you may need to use the chrome horns. These drivers running here at the edge are outside the top 10. They are starting to get impatient. We come up on 45 laps, complete 46 this time by, and there's one car up the hill. It's Trevor Catalano off turn 4.
He was able to gather it back. He now runs to the outside of Tim Conley's number 4. That's the battle you're looking at center stage of your screen. Back up front, leader. Brand new leader emerges at the point. It is car number 46, Craig Lutz from Miller Place, New York. The Riverhead Building Supply machine. Out in front, margin between first and second is an impressive one. Silk has moved back into the runner-up spot. Jake Johnson has settled back in with the number 3 car. Behind them, once the leader of the event, Cecily. Joe, he's dropped back to the bottom of the top 6.
He got shuffled out of line, but I think the car that may be most impressive right now is the car sitting second. Ron Silk has such drive, such launch off turn number 2. He gives the bumper to the back of Craig Lutz. That 16 car right now running in the second spot looks very, very good.
Certainly does. Very consistent and smooth. Watch him reel in. Taps to the back bumper. Looks to the outside. Can't do it. We're now looking further back into the field. Good speed shot as the field comes down. Down the back straightaway. Here comes Silk. Bonsai move to the bottom. Going, gone. Third different leader of the event.
You can see him setting that pass up. Silk just rolls through turns 1 and 2 so easily. He was able to get to the back bumper of Craig Lutz and just drive underneath him at the entrance of turn 3. And already, Ron Silk able to start to extend by a car length or two. That car is on rails right now.
Certainly is. Another car to keep your eyes on is the 22 of Kyle Bonsignore. It's setting back in the 4th position. Car 22 coming towards the front of the field as well, running directly behind the number 3 car of Jake Johnson. That's the Lynch Propane Plus machine. Back up front, leader of the pack coming up on a lap traffic car. Off turn number 4, Melissa Fifield about to go down a lap again.
Last time through turn 4, the 22 car of Kyle Bonsignore jumped the curb and nearly lost the handle, and he was able to roll it back in. Melissa Fifield, though, a little